Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Help Me Think. This episode is, again, a special one. Well, at this point, it's not even that special because I feel like every time I have guests at this point. But anyways, we have a guest. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Hello, guys. My name is Charles, and I'm here yet again. Your favourite person's back.
Today we've got a little, collection of different topics, like subtopics for relationships, but just a couple interesting questions. Yeah.
Let's get on.
Let's get on. Okay.
We'll do yours.
Okay. So first, I actually want to start it differently from what we talked about. Do you think guys and girls can be best friends?
Best friends? No.
Okay. Yeah.
They can be friends.
They can be friends, but not best friends.
No, I don't think so.
Why don't you think so?
In wholeheartedly, I just believe that there needs to be just an unreal amount of understanding between you two to be best friends. And I feel like men and women can understand each other, but not to the point where they just, because they're two different peoples, okay?
What about relationships then?
In the relationships, it's just more harmonious. They can still be best friends, I believe, but because there's a lot of clarity between those two. There's a lot of transparency. That's what I meant.
But why can't there be transparency between two best friends?
I think it's just, I don't know. I just don't think it's possible. Hardly.
I think they're just gonna, like, someone's gonna develop feelings, so that's just not gonna. Yeah.
Because when you indirectly say best friend, that means you spend a lot of time with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then that also means that spending a lot of time between two different, two male and females, then there probably will be some feelings developed later on, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then that's where it gets confusing. Yeah. And then it will turn into a relationship, I think.
Well, maybe one person develops feelings and the other one doesn't.
Of course.
Yeah.
There's always one-sided. The one that doesn't say anything, and they just continues to go about their day.
Yeah. Okay, anyways, that was just kind of like a lead up, because why do I have to always do such a prologue before, because now we're gonna come to the topic that we wanted to talk about. Like, who cares? What, we can just say the question, and just be,
Mm-hmm.
And this is just so wow, new chapter, I could also actually do chapters in this one because we have different topics.
Yeah.
Because before it wasn't really
You can block them up.
Yeah.
So that and that.
Because you can actually do it on this website.
Yeah.
Anyhow, okay. Do you think that you can be friends with an ex?
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
I think you can be friends, but again, there needs to be a lot of understanding between you two as to why you'd want to become friends. Say that you don't want to. You're broken up, but there's no hard feelings. You still care for each other, but you don't want to completely cut each other off, since that's what a lot of people do.
Mm-hmm.
Just cut each other off, and because the love was crazy strong, and then there's right, you know what? I can't be friends with you because it'll just be weird down the line. But I think that if you've got that friendship as well within your relationship, then you can be friends. If you've got that built-in friendship.
Built in, it's just.
Say that there's just nights where you don't really feel like you're in a relationship, but you just got someone to talk to, probably like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. Do you think you can be close friends with an ex though? Because that's what you asked me yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I asked you.
Yeah, now I'm asking you.
Why are you asking me?
Because it's reversing.
It's not. Yeah. No. Hold on.
Okay. Now let me close the window. Okay, so I do not think you can be close. Look, in theory, I think you can say you are close friends, and it can seem from the outside like you are close friends, but I think that there is gonna probably be feelings from one side at least. I don't know. I feel like it really depends on the situation. Like, let's say if you I imagine just high school romance, and you just got together, you really liked each other, and then you thought oh yeah, we want to be together, and then you dated for a while, but then you just you kind of realize, okay, you actually just liked each other as people, and there was kind of like no need, you know, in dating. And then you both kind of come to this not to this agreement, but you both think that in the same like moment, you know, and you both just agree, okay, we still like each other, we enjoy each other's company, but like kind of relationship was really not needed, kind of, you know. And then I feel like it can be, but I feel like if it goes just like deeper and, you know, if it's a more like long relationship and a more kind of like a deep, you know, deep one, then I don't think it's really gonna work. Especially obviously if one person didn't really want to break up, so they are maybe more likely to still have feelings like later, or both have feelings. But I don't know. I don't think it would be like bad. Like if they both fine with it, I just feel like it might really hurt like either both or one of them. So I think it wouldn't just be like, what's the point really? Like you kind of want to like be friends because but you actually just want to be with the person, and then you like lie to yourself that you can be friends, but you can't really. Yeah, but I think, you know, as long as they're fine with it, okay, let them be, I guess. But let's say, because that's also what we talked about yesterday, or like we started to, if you're if you are in a new relationship, I don't think that's okay. Do you think?
Okay.
Okay, I just spoiled what I was gonna say. But now, do you think you can be friends with an ex if you have a new relationship?
I think you can, but you can't at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
You have to talk to don't keep it a secret from your new partner.
Yeah.
That is the first and foremost. And if their partner would be okay with it,
Mm-hmm.
or if your partner would be okay with it, then obviously go ahead. But then you also have to keep in mind there is a level of disrespect that you can't cross. As in, like, if they know that, if you know that your ex-partner was like is still liking you,
Yeah.
then obviously don't be friends, because then it's just out of respect for for your partner.
Mm-hmm.
To get out of that way of the misunderstanding for the ex, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't think. Well, it is possible, I think, but you need to have a talk with both people.
Do you think you can be close friends with an ex if you have a like? Does it make no?
No, you can't be close friends, because I think that's crazy. I can't lie, that is crazy to me.
What is what is the difference? What is the boundary though between like be friends and be close friends? Like, how do you define?
Friends is just like they're just there, but they're not willing to be, you know, actively seeking to be in your, you know, be around you. You know what I mean? And the close friends is friends that are just in your inner circle, I believe, to be always wanting to, hang out,
Mm-hmm.
and want to always plan a lot of stuff with you, whether it be long term or whether that be short term.
Okay. So I think I can distinguish between like my, you know, just in my head between my friends. Like, so like I can say these are my close friends and these are not. So like I understand it. Would you say your friends, like say the ones that I know, are they your close friends or just friends?
I think they're my close friends.
Do you have just normal friends?
Yeah, many.
Are they friends or are they just people who you know and who you saw once in your life?
No, they are actually friends. It's friends that are willing to, even if like probably like once in a couple of months, want to meet up.
Mm-hmm.
I do have quite a few where they just message me, "Hey, you alright?" Just message me out of the blue, see if they want to meet up. But you know, it's not like they're gonna be wanting to meet up with me every single day. It's just nice to see them.
Okay. Yeah.
But close friends, I say that back in your hometown, the people that you just haven't. Okay, the only analogy that I can say is your close friends are your people that you hang out outside of school, and your friends are that you hang out in school, but you don't see outside of school.
Mm-hmm.
That's my analogy of it.
I just feel like it's hard for me to really compare it because I don't really have friends. I mean, like friends,
Wallah.
like friends in school that I don't like do anything with. Like I just don't call them friends.
Acquaintance.
Yeah, I feel like we just have the different, you know, terminology for that. But I guess I know what you mean. Like, I know a couple people who I would say, like, okay, I could say they're my friends, but...
I mean, you don't have to religiously want to spend time with them every single day. That's
yeah, but I don't want to spend time with my close friends every single day.
Exactly.
You know?
So, but the people that are just there. Okay, I'm not gonna say names, but
yeah, that's so hard.
Yeah, I'm not saying any names.
Go on. I'll just cut it out later.
So let's say your friends would be Clemens, yeah,
Yeah.
and then your close friend would be Kati.
Yeah. Well,
then,
yeah, Kati's my best friend, so it's obviously
exactly. And then, but you also have close friends that you don't talk too much, but you just know that there's a lot of, you know, when you do see them.
Yeah.
And I would say Sasha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But they're still, at the end of the day, you probably talk to them probably like a couple times a week, yeah, maybe once a week, but you just know that there's a lot of love between them. There's a lot
between
of
them.
there's a lot of a lot of relationships. No, a lot of, you know, chemistry between your relationships, you two.
Okay, that's very general, but yeah, I get what you mean. So let's say if Clemens was my ex, that would be fine. But like if Sasha was my ex, that wouldn't be fine.
Whoa.
Like for me to be friends with them.
Whoa.
like let's say if I say that like Yannick is my close friend.
Okay.
Like that would be weird if we had dated and then like we were friends on this, you know, like close friends. But like if I, let's say, you know, some other people from my class. So, but there's people, let's say, who see. Okay, let's say Clemens, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I invite him to the party. I don't really talk to him much outside of when we see each other or outside of when I see him at school, when I visit. But I do invite him to the party. And then there's other people who I talk to in school and who I really like and who I would say are my friends, not close friends, but who I don't invite to the party. So which level would you think be okay to go up to, you know, to put your ex on? So like Yannick, Clemens, or what is it, Maxi?
Probably Clemens.
Okay.
Because you don't really talk to him much.
That's so funny to me. Like, just with the names, it's so funny.
Yeah, but yeah, you just don't talk to him much. Like Yannick still, you see him, I think, more than Clemens. You've hung out probably with Yannick more than Clemens.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just comparing it with your analogy.
Yeah, that's fine. So. Okay. Yeah, no, that's fair. But yeah, I don't know. That's just so hard to really. Let's say with again, me, out of context.
Let's say me and you, yeah. I had an ex that's just constantly, you know, there as a friend, but like not really. I
can't imagine this. You don't have any female friends. I just cannot.
Okay.
That's true.
It's very true.
And you really like to flex with it.
Yeah.
So yeah, don't act like that now.
Yeah,
so anyways, okay, finish your question, but I'm just gonna tell you, I can't even say like if this situation would be okay or not, because in our reality where you just don't talk to women at all, other than customers or your like manager.
But no, what I'm saying is, say I did have someone there, okay?
Okay.
And that's wanting to meet up. I'm not going to say, well, I will say that, but like once every single 2 weeks.
Okay.
Once every week, I'd be like, all right, yeah, do you want to come chill out? Not really do much, but just go have a coffee or something.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, just platonic in their head.
Yeah, but I don't know what it's like in their head, do I?
Yeah, but just figuratively speaking, it is. You feel like it's platonic because they don't pressure it much more. You've seen it happen before, where they go out for a coffee shop, just have one coffee, and just talk, and then that's it. Or would you be still against that?
No, I mean,
at the end of the day, that's your ex.
No, if in my head it is platonic, then it's fine. But I just don't think. I'm just not sure I would think to myself like, yeah, that's fine. That's truly platonic. You know, because like I know you better, so I kind of know. You know, I can kind of see what your intentions are, but I don't know what their intentions are. And if I could think, okay, she just still has feelings for you, and then I guess I wouldn't. I mean, that's so hard because I would understand why you'd still want to, you know, see her. Because if you don't have feelings for her, but you just like her as a person, because you know, like I had friends who I knew like had feelings for me, but I still wanted to see them. you know, because I just like them as people, and it's like, it's not my fault, you know, that they have feelings for me. But I guess because we never dated, that's a bit different, maybe. Maybe not. Yeah, I don't know. And then it's kind of like, okay, I get you just like her as a person, but I guess because it's like ex, it's, again, it's just this concept, this construct that you're like, okay, if I know she might still have if I know she might still have feelings for me, then I'm just gonna have to not see her, even though I want to. But it's like, we were together and we had like some time together as like close people. We, you know, had thoughts about our future together and stuff, you know, and then you just kind of have to, you know, do the hard thing and just not talk to her, I guess.
Yeah, that would be very understandable on your partner's behalf, because if you felt like you could have seen a future with someone, and then like it all came crashing down from then, yeah, it'll be a bit like, if you're for your new partner, it'll just be like, right, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah, like, you know, if you don't have a new relationship, then it's all
That's
up to
fine.
you.
I mean, I don't really care half the time then, but if you are in a new relationship, just best believe, if you did feel like you had a good chance at a future with your ex, then I think it's best to just break it in terms of like contact with your ex. Yeah, if you have a new partner, I think.
But I guess it's just
Personal preference.
I guess it's up to your partner then. So like, yeah, unless you really want to keep in contact with your ex, and then you're just gonna like sacrifice your relationship. But I feel like you can be friends if your partner is okay with it, but if they're not okay with it, then it's their right to say so. And I think it's valid if they say like, okay, I'm uncomfortable, and like that's not unreasonable jealousy or anything. Like, I think that's, but I do think that in some cases it is possible. But I think it is definitely definitely not like straight away, you know. Because you know, like, I mean, I had a kindergarten relationship, and damn, yeah, you know, and you know, like now I think, because obviously like I know like how I feel, but I think for me, like, you know, 10 years later, or like almost 10, it would be fine for me to like be friends with him.
Oh yeah, that would be weird if you would have thought, right, that's weird, because then it's like, right, you develop feelings that crazy when you were a kid.
Yeah, but you know, like 5 years later, it wasn't fine yet. Like, I don't think it was. Like, I think I still had, you know, maybe like, yeah, some kind of feeling, some kind of hope, you know. And it's just great. So you can't really put, that's, I think, I don't know what I wanted to say with it, but maybe that you can't really put a time frame on it. Like, you can't say, okay, 2 months after a breakup, it's not fine to be friends yet, but like 4, it is.
No,
because it's just so different
you can never
for
know.
people.
It's really up to time.
Yeah.
You can never think to yourself, right, you know what, I'm gonna move on at this time. That's the end of that topic. I think we covered it. Yeah.
Next topic.
Right. So the next question we have at hand is
We just have a little list lying in between us, and we look at it and we talk. That was a joke.
The set is incredible, I must say. We have an incredible set.
We haven't even talked about the set. That's crazy. Let's talk about the set.
The set is currently very raised up. And however, I am currently sitting on a pillow, and it's very, very comfortable with a blanket on me. I've got my waffles to my right. I can see the monitor, and Tanya's sitting opposite me. She's also sitting in a blanket. She's also sitting on top of a pillow. And then she also has some really, really nice socks to keep her very, 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 very warm.
Yeah, because it's always so cold. Like, it's, even if it's warm in my room, it's still cold on the, you know, I don't know why, because it's not even floor.
It's the material.
No, it's not the material.
Yeah, I don't
know. Maybe my feet just don't have circulation either.
Yeah, probably.
Same as mine. Anyways, but yeah, these socks very recommended. You know, like fluffy socks that like you can buy for Christmas and stuff. These are so old. I wanted to buy new ones, but I didn't really get it. I don't know, 3-4 years. Well, probably them? 3 years. No, I don't think so.
That
I
is
never
crazy.
washed them. No, for a while I would only like put them on after showering, after like washing my feet, so that they would be clean. But now I don't. So I think
You'd
it's
hope
really
they-
disgusting.
You'd hope that they are clean.
But well. But I don't know. I feel like if I wash them, they're just gonna shrink and die and just gonna be shit.
Just cold wash them and then air dry them.
Yeah, I'm just too lazy. Disgusting. Okay, right. Let's get to the point.
Okay. Right, next question. My question is, would you think that it's possible to get back with an ex?
I think it is possible. I don't think it's good. I don't think you should do it. I think it is possible, yeah, because, well, first, again, going back to coping mechanisms topic, because it's comfort. It's like when you're uncertain and you feel like, especially if you know that your ex-partner still has feelings or had feelings or like might have feelings for you, and let's say if they didn't want to break up really, and then it may be easy to just like, you know, in time of uncertainty to be like, oh yeah, I actually didn't want to break up, you know, let's just get back together. But I think there is always a reason for a breakup. And what is it? There was a saying, the person who broke you will never be the person to like heal you or something. Or like what broke you will never be something to like heal you or something. Well, I think that's kind of maybe referring to something else as well. But I think there is always a reason. Like if you broke up, there must have been a reason. Like obviously there is some like there is reasons like, yeah, you just weren't like ready for a relationship. But I don't know, I feel like if you weren't ready, so then in like some time later you're gonna, you know, grow and develop and just change as a person, and then you will very unlikely actually be, you know, compatible with the same person again, because they're also gonna grow and they're gonna change. It is possible.
It is very, very possible, that's the thing.
I don't know, I don't think so.
It's very possible to get back because at the end of the day, when you break up, you can't really expect to get back together if you broke up on very shit terms. I say like one cheated on the other.
Yeah.
Okay. Impossible.
It's still, I think it is.
What? No, bro.
I
think the amount of disrespect that has to happen because you get cheated on. Okay, right. You want to take back the person that absolutely cheated on you. No, I don't believe it. So what I think so is there needs to be a point where when you do break up, it's healthy, and that the reasons you need to actually know for the reason. You need to know what actually happened in the relationship, and you need to be able to kind of identify why you're broken up. And once you have identified, or once you know why you're broken up, kind of, you know, just move on from it. But there needs to be a point where in the relationship that you two had, and there needs to be a point where you have to think of it as like it's done. First and foremost, for you to heal from that relationship, for you to grow from that relationship. And if you heal from the relationship, you become better. And then at that point, only really, that would be the only time that would be possible to be like rekindling a relationship with an ex. Should you have broken up in very good terms, and then you guys are going about your own separate lives, but that you need to have fully moved on. And then later on, if you decide, you know what, I still like my ex, right? Just give them a little message or something, mate. Later on down the years or something, but you need to have moved on.
I don't think. Look, I think the only scenario possible, like, yeah, I think it is possible, but first it's very unlikely because you both develop in like different. You know, like every time you make a choice, you develop in like a different direction.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And it's just there is an infinite, you know, number of possibilities how you both will develop, and you're two different people. And it is like, for me, just the, you know, the probability, the chance that you will both develop separately and come to the same point, you know, like years down the line, is just so small. But it is possible. But I think the only option how it can be done is not when you think I still love my ex and you give them a little message, but when you know, randomly meet again, and then you develop feelings again. Because if you still love your ex, I don't think, I mean, yeah, you can love them, but it's not like, I don't think it's enough for a relationship.
No,
like, you can love them, you know, as an old friend or as a person who really influenced you in your life. Mm. But I don't think that's how you should start a relationship, because there's just other components that need to be there. Like, I don't know, being in love. So I think the only way I would see it as, you know, like, okay, and like, wow, that's fate then, if you just meet again randomly and you develop feelings again. And I don't think if you think about it, because if you still love them, it means you have been thinking about them like constantly, and I don't think that means you moved on.
I think it's not about, okay, so if you still, because many years down the line you probably will have that kind of nostalgia feeling.
Yeah, but I don't think that nostalgia feeling will make you text them and get back together with them.
No, it's not just text them. Like, there's not a wanting to get back in that text. It's just see how they are, and then obviously in some cases it will happen to the point where, oh yeah, meet up, how are you, and then that's it. That's the only way. And then, like, you go to see them. It's completely fine. Still friendship, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, like, I don't know, you may or may not start to develop feelings later on when you do meet up. But when you go to actually mesh them, I believe that you just need to have moved on, really. And you just be like, right, just see how they are. But there needs to be no point in that time when you do mesh them, like, I want to get back together with them. I just want to see how they are.
Yeah.
And there needs to be that little flick where you, like, right, I like this person, you know what I mean? And if not, then that's it, really. But just by then it'll just be friendship. So
yeah, I don't know. I think it is possible, but it's like, you know, we're talking years and years, I think, and maybe like they both had relationships in between. They're both like really, you know,
grown.
Yeah, but I don't know. Again, that's just so hard. Like the things that we're talking about, it just all, I think, depends on the context so much. I guess there are cases that this happens and everything is fine and, you know, people are happy till the end of their lives.
There's many cases where literally, like, some people broke up and then they get back 10 years and, like, what?
You know some people?
Huh?
Do you know?
Yeah, I do know some people.
Do you know if they're gonna live happily ever after?
I don't know. I'm not really friends with them. I just know them.
I just feel like, again, there was some reason why you broke up, and I don't think it can just, like, go away. So I feel like it will, at some point, you may be, like, you know, in this euphoria, like, oh wow, we met again and we both, like, you fall in love again. But I feel like there will be, you know, most likely the same thing that kept you from, you know, keeping the relationship back.
That's where I think the growth needs to happen. You can't go back to the relationship and expect, you know, the same things, and you know, you're just gonna make the same mistakes. You need to have really gotten the experience from, well, life experiences, and then try to, you know, see if you've changed from it and you've seen you've grown. But there needs to be some absolute growth between the two, and there needs to be an unreal amount of time. It's because you can't go back in a relationship about months, like a year. You can't do that, because there needs to be enough time.
I think you can, but you shouldn't. Because I think I told you that before at some point, that, like, if you go back together, or maybe I told someone else, that, like, in my eyes,
I don't think you can.
Well, if one person, if it was one person's decision to break up and the other one didn't want it, and then this person who decided to break up, they just kind of came back, and the person who didn't really want to break up, they say, okay, yeah, let's.
Yeah, but I don't think so. I don't think that'll be the best way.
No, I don't. I think it can be it can happen, but I don't think it's the best way either. Like, that's what I'm saying. But they can get back together. I'm not saying they won't break up in a month later, but
I think, like I said, I keep saying it. You just need to have an insane amount of growth from your partner. You need to have moved on fully. When genuinely, that is when the only time that you should ever really consider going back.
I just don't think why you would. I just don't understand why you would consider going back if you are so much grown and if you are so moved on from your partner.
No. Okay. Not considering as soon as you're like, okay, say that you just wanna, right, I'm gonna get back with my ex because I feel so grown. I don't think, no. What I mean by that is, like, there needs to be a chance of, right, you just want to meet up randomly. Like I said again, you don't.
Yeah,
genuinely,
you can't.
You have to go with the expectation that you've just moved on. But you just want to, like, you still care for them, but you don't necessarily want to be in a relationship with them. Yeah, but you know, I think that there needs to be growth. You need to have had a lot of life experiences, and then you're gonna be much more mature in a relationship, and then you know, I think you'll prosper more once you're People going back with their exes like years down the line, they have actually, done better, I think, because they've had a lot more life experiences. They've had to go through a lot, and then they've matured a lot more, and then they're willing to I don't know. I'm not in a sense forgive, but more understanding in the relationship, and I think there'll be more understanding between the two.
Yeah, but I still think it is really exceptional cases. Because, like, yeah, it makes sense what you're saying, but I just think that in practice, again, like, if, let's say, it was more of... Because it's always one person's initiative. In reality, it's really hard to forgive but never forget. Like, you forgive them, but again, like, it's hard to not forget it. Like, you still kind of have in your back of your head that last time they wanted to break up. You still... I don't know. That's one of the things, I think. But it has to be just like from scratch, because I think you have to go into a relationship just like completely new people, just get to know each other from scratch, and I think that is just really hard to do in practice. It is, in theory, it's possible, but if we're talking like how it is, like what it's like in real world, I don't think it's gonna really work out that well.
I think that there's in some cases, there is. I think it is actually quite common of people getting back with their ex in wholeheartedly.
I don't think it's good getting back together. Like, I think there is people, and there's a lot of people.
There is a lot of people in this world. So
yeah, okay, 8.1 billion. Yeah, I just don't think it's gonna be a happy relationship. I think it's very possible, and I do think that like it may be the first thought of, when you don't know what to do, when you feel lonely, let's say, to just go back, because going back is easy, but I don't think it's a good thing. And I don't think, like, still, if I imagine I don't know, it's just going back, something about going back is not right with me, because again, like, maybe, I don't have the probability in numbers, but it's definitely one in a billions and billions that if we imagine like people's growth as like a little diagram, like a tree, and every branch is every decision, how likely is that people will, if we're talking about growth, this smart word, that people, let's say even this tree has different levels, but still, like, you can't be on one level, because growth is not like linear. It's not like, oh yeah, we're both on level 103.
No, you're going to be at different growth levels, but that's what you gauge it on. I don't think and then from then, it's very hard. I'm going to actually search up the statistic of people.
Of people getting back together.
Yeah, and actually being in a happy relationship, because I think it'll be fucking insanely high, and compared to what you'd be thinking it is.
Okay.
You wouldn't believe it. So the statistic... okay, I'll read you the full paragraph.
Yeah.
Exes may return in some cases. Some couples break up for various reasons. The circumstances of a breakup may impact the potential for reconnection. A recent study showed that... This is just Americans, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Recent
Cultural
study...
bias.
What?
Cultural bias. But go on.
Well, they said it's only in this one, so...
Yeah.
Maybe in the world, but yeah, 44% of Americans have gotten back together with one of their exes after breaking up with them. And here's another one: roughly around half the people who end up getting back together break up again.
Okay, so it's about 20%
mm-hmm, of successful, going back together, basically. And then he says here, one out of the 7 people who ended up getting their exes back, 3 of them ended up breaking again. So yeah, 3 of them ended up breaking up again.
3 of whom?
3 of them ended up breaking up again.
Yeah, 3 of them.
3 of the 7 people that ended up going back. So 7 is just like a little...
Yeah, I'll get it.
Yeah.
So what, 4 out of 7 people did not break up?
No.
But it's a different statistic. That's not what you just said before.
It's just, you said it in the same website before.
Yeah, that's weird. Can I read it? Let me read it.
Sure.
Yeah, that's fine. So basically, just around 20%. It's a bit different percentage, but yeah. So around 20% of Americans who get back together with their ex have a happy relationship. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. Have they asked people who are 90. You know, they ask people in a relationship right now. Maybe they got back together yesterday and they're gonna break up in a week, maybe in 2 years. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I guess you can stay together, but I don't think it will be healthy, the relationship, because
Honestly, it may be, because, like I just said, there's probably some cases where there is some time apart, and then they reconnect somehow, yeah, and then they're better in the relationship.
yeah, I don't know. Maybe it is.
No,
Maybe
'cause
I
there-
just can't. Maybe I just can't really imagine myself in that scenario. But I guess for some people, it can actually work because you did have a connection. And let's say if you just, both needed time apart and just needed time, single or something, or there was just life circumstances, I don't know, moving somewhere, I guess it can be. But maybe I just don't see myself in that scenario, because for me it's just really like going back is just something about it. I don't think it's a good thing, For me, it wouldn't be like, I would, just the way I see it, it's like, so if let's say you break up and then the person starts being like really putting effort to try to like convince you not to break up, because like one person wants to break up, the other one doesn't, and you're like, they're actually, they're kind of changing and they're, putting more effort in. Maybe it'll be fine, like if we actually stay together. So you stay together, and then if you're not happy with something, again, in a relationship, because so the person, for a while, they really like get better and they they try their best because they are afraid you're going to leave them. So it's not out of like pure intentions of wanting to make you happy, but also out of the intention to just for you not to leave. And then after a while, they can't live in fear. Like they can't, okay, relax and, okay, you're staying, everything's fine. And then at some point you're not happy with something again. Like the person who wanted to break up in the first place. And then there is always, I feel like, this threat like hanging above them that they might break up. And I feel like it's the same or similar when going back to the relationship, that you kind of never know that you're not going to break up. Like, obviously you never know.
Of course.
But I just feel like you always have it in your head that, like, last time you broke up, I don't know, maybe because of this or because of that, or maybe out of nowhere, and you just, I don't know, I just don't feel like you can be ever really sure about it.
See, it's hard because there is genuinely so many cases, and there's many cases where it just plummets down again and becomes worse. But it's I keep saying you need to really be grown to be in a relationship, I think.
Okay, no, I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, now I do agree that
You need to have that.
it is possible, but I'm just not like, I guess not for some people. Like, I cannot imagine myself in that scenario.
Well, yeah, I can imagine myself, but I can't imagine myself if it didn't break up in a good way.
Yeah.
If it ended up like with me getting cheated on, then fuck no, get riddance. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't for me anyways. But if it's just a case of there needs to be growing, and then there needs to be like you guys had a healthy breakup, then maybe. But then, like I said, there needs to be a time apart, and you need to have moved on, and it's not a case of you need to have had partners in between. It's just also the case of the fact that you just need to be grown. To be in a relationship, you need to be secure in yourself. I think you need to be happy with yourself, happy with where you are. Not necessarily older, but it's good to be at a good place before entering a relationship.
Yeah.
Because it'll just, it's just going to be, you're going to be trying to not really leech, but like, you're going to be trying to get them to help you when, like, you know what I mean? And it just needs to be your own growth. You need to be grown.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But it's very, very, very difficult, should you ever get back with an ex, because then, obviously, you're going to have that cycle again, where it'll be like, right, you're going to be back to the in-love sensation, and then you're going to be finding out, like I told you about yesterday, you're going to be snapping back into the reality again of like, right, this is their flaws. They may be better in most other places that they weren't good at before, but they do have some new flaws, and then it'll be up to you to judge whether in fact you want to stay with them.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's all about, if you are just fucking hateful towards some flaws, it'd be like, right, you know what, fuck that, that's it, done. But yeah, you just need to be. But half the time, you kind of just have to accept it, that many people they have their flaws, and
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, no one's perfect, and there is no 100% perfect match between people.
Exactly. You can't be like, right, it's literally my long lost lover. No, you can't have that. It's you're gonna have to accept a person for who they are, and then maybe accept if they are able to, if you see a future with them.
It's not really contradictory to whether it's your long lost lover, is it? Because when you say they can, like, people can get back together, then it is basically them.
That is long lost lover, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But their long lost lover has still their flaws.
Oh yeah.
And imperfections, and yeah.
Yeah, no.
I feel like it just has to be like a completely new relationship, I think it is. I don't know how it's possible.
You never know.
I don't know. Look, so if I compare it to my friendships, to friends who I'm not friends with anymore, well, most of them weren't really, good, let's say, breakups, like on good terms. And then if you try to get back with them, or like they try to be friends with them again, it's not really, it doesn't really work out. But yeah, maybe that's because we're like,
No, it's just friends in general. I think you value your past relationship, a little bit. Well, that's another topic, though, isn't it?
But that's also, you value it more, but it's also, like, it's also harder to, like, you open up more. It's just more, it's deeper. So that I think that's also it's harder to trust them again. It's harder to, everything. It's different. Like, you value it more, but you also get annoyed more, maybe, because you are closer with the person. Person?
No, but I think that it is insanely hard to want to come back to a past relationship. But at the end of the day, it happens. It really does happen.
Well, apparently 20%.
20% of Americans.
Yeah.
But it's it's not unheard of. It can happen. And it's up to, I think that you just have to really find out what flaws are going to be okay for you, because you're going to have to be able to essentially accept a person for who they are.
But you had to do it in the first time as well. What changed? Well, okay, you've grown.
Yeah, you have grown.
Yeah, I don't know. You're still the same person. Like,
you are the same person, but at the end of the day, it's not about that. But I think it's more in the fact of how much wiser you have become, and how much more mature you've become into the relationship. Because you can be the same person from you are, but you just be more mature. Like, the people that's changed, honestly.
Okay, so
okay, guys.
Again, I feel like this is kind of a close end to this discussion, because it just depends on so many factors. But at least we agree on the fact that it is possible.
No, it is possible, yeah.
For some people, and I'm happy for them. But yeah, I guess we're gonna end this here.
Sorry, guys.
Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed, because this will be
my last time in the podcast for a while.
So I hope you enjoyed it.
And thank you guys for listening to me. Maybe
years down the line, we will be sitting here again together and talking about, again, whether you can get back with an ex, or maybe whether you can be friends with an ex.
Yeah. We'll see. We shall see.
But no one knows.
Yeah. But it'll be a while from now, let's say that. So yeah. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
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 Bye-bye. You might have to... No, we need to actually say it. No, you can't have to say it. Right, guys, we're breaking up.
Cut.